on Rafael Delgado as the center backs. Eric Mesa is on the right. Juan Pablo Álvarez moving backwards to the left back position. Baldomero Perlaza, Cristian Vega and Carlos Arrua in the midfield. Up in attack, Santiago Pierotti will be joining Ramon Ávila. The coach is Néstor Gorosito, who suddenly tried to lift Colón up in the league. Meanwhile, Banfield has Facundo Cambeses as the captain and keeper. The four defenders, Matías Romero, Manuel Olivera, Aaron Quiroz and Pedro Souto. In the midfield, Alejandro Cabrera and former Atlanta United Eric Remedi. Farther up, Juan Bizanzo on the right, Ignacio Rodriguez on the left. Ryan Alemán is the playmaker. And today's striker is Milton Jiménez, as the coach Javier Sanguinetti moved Andrés Chavez to the bench, giving the chance to number 45, Milton Jiménez. This is round number 15 of the Argentinian LPF, of the Liga Profesional de Fútbol, as we are less than 24 hours away from the Super Clásico between Ríver Plate and Bόκα Juniors. We have the teams to enter the field shortly. This is the schedule of the round. We didn't have away goals so far in 3 games. A scoreless draw between Godoy Cruz and Unión. A 3-0 win by Barraca Central over Instituto. A 1-0 win by Lanús over Huracán, as we just saw. Belgrano Atlético Tucumán, Colón Banfield, the 2 games we have now, as will be followed by Argentinos Juniors against Independiente. Then Rosario Central will take on Platense on Sunday. Ríver Plate will host Bόκα Juniors. Don't miss the special coverage of AFA Play from the stadium. Tigre will take on Newell's and Estudiantes will play Vélez. We close the round on Monday with Arsenal Gimnasia, San Lorenzo Defensa y Justicia, Racing against Talleres, and Central Córdoba in Santiago del Estero hosting Sarmiento. The standings have Ríver Plate leading on 34, followed by San Lorenzo on 28, Defensa y Justicia on 27, Lanús on 25, Talleres, Estudiantes, Belgrano on 24, Rosario Central on 23, Godoy Cruz on 22 points, Tigre is on 20, Argentinos Juniors, Newell's, Boca and Racing close the top half of the standings. Boca and Racing on 18 points, just like Central Córdoba, then Platense, Barraca Central, Instituto Vélez, Sarmiento, Huracán. We find Banfield on 22nd on 15 points. Colón 2 spots behind on 14th points. Between them is Gimnasia. Colón only ahead of Atlético Tucumán, of Independiente, Arsenal, and the rivals in Santa Fe, Unión. The teams are entering the field in a few seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome everybody to this game. Colón against Banfield. My name is Francisco Aure, and it's a pleasure to leave you with Carter Augustine and George Metellus for the 90-minute action.
Thank you very much indeed, Francisco. Good to see the jewel of Colón, Facundo Farias, in attendance here today. Boy, would they love to have him out on the pitch. They've missed him this year after that devastating knee injury he suffered back in August of last season. Still working his way back into action. And they could use him in the attack. Colón of Santa Fe. They've picked up the form after a slow start to the season. A managerial change. Néstor Gorosito has made the Sabalero very difficult to beat. And in fact, they suffered their first loss under their new manager last time out. A 2-0 defeat away to one of the hottest teams in the country, Defensa y Justicia. They return to the Elephant Graveyard to try and get back on to winning ways. Welcoming in the Taladro of Banfield as they make their way out onto the pitch here in Santa Fe. Banfield struggling under Javier Sanguinetti this season, struggling for goals, the second fewest in the entire league, and a difficult trip, as always, here to the Brigadier General Estanislao Lopez. George Metellus, both teams desperate for points here as they're both hovering in the bottom echelon of the standings. Cologne 24th, Banfield 22nd. This is a match that could have relegation implications at the end of the year or perhaps into next year. What are you looking forward to?
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing how both of these teams come out in the attack here. Two teams that are struggling to score goals this season. So which one of these teams will be better going forward, will be more crisp with their passing and finish their chances? Because both of these teams are teams that they have to worry a little bit about relegation here. So that's what I'm looking forward to seeing, how these two teams build their attacks through the midfield, the crispness of their passing, and then the finishing going forward. That's what I'm looking forward to seeing in this match.
Well, it was a positive run of form for the Sabalero as of late. Got a win against Colegiales early in the Copa Argentina to go with a long unbeaten spell. 10 matches unbeaten in the league. Made it 11 with that Copa Argentina victory, but a defeat away at the Halcón last weekend snapped that streak. First loss under Gorosito, George, but he has really gotten Cologne back on track after a dismal start to 2023.
Yeah, Pipo Gorosito is a veteran manager in this Argentine First Division, well known with a couple of and has managed a few teams in the First Division, so he knows what to do to turn things around, and it'll be a matter of time before Cologne will be on a positive winning track there. He has that kind of mentality and mindset to inject in his team. So, and Cologne is a team with good talent as well, so they have everything in place. They just need to turn it around, and Gorosito is the man that will do it.
Saw amicable greeting between Juan Pablo Alvarez and Javier Sanguinetti and the Banfield staff. Of course, Alvarez, long time with Banfield, played under Sanguinetti. We'll be hoping to get one over on his former club here this early evening. We're waiting for the coin toss and waiting a bit longer as Facundo Garces is wearing the armband tonight. In the absence of Paulo Goltz, a special evening for Garces. You see there getting the special 100 appearance shirt for the Sabalero. Another bright young Facundo prospect to go along with Farias Garces, the only 23, the center defender, already a Centurion with Cologne. Matched up with Facundo Cambeses, continuing the Facundo theme as the goalkeeper is the captain for the visitors here tonight. Pablo Echeverria, center referee, VAR, Mauro Vigliano. As Gorosito looks on, so too to Sanguinetti. We talked about the home side, George. It's been a struggle this season for Banfield. Just 9 goals scored in their opening 14 games, and Sanguinetti got a vote of confidence a couple weeks ago, but perhaps the seat starting to get hot for the Banfield legend.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to have to find a way to get his team to score more goals. Defensively, they could be better. They're not fantastic, but they could be better. But they aren't horrible. But it's just the goal scoring that's really been the issue for Sanguinetti so far this season. And if they don't turn that around quickly, then they're going to really drop into that relegation battle. So they're going to have to find a way. It's going to be finishing the chances, creating the chances, and then preventing the chances. So they have to dominate the possession here. I know it's difficult on the road for Banfield, but that's, I think, the game plan for them to be successful.
Where we go with a cheer from the Sabalero faithful in Santa Fe. Cologne playing host to Banfield, two teams that know their way around a draw this season, but pretty soon need to start turning a point into 3. The home side wearing their traditional half and half, the red and black, the visitors El Taladro with the white and the green sash. Alongside George Metellus, Francisco Aure back in the studio, I'm Carter Augustine. A pleasure to have you with us on this Super Classico weekend in Argentina. And George, as I just said, these two teams have plenty of draws this season, but they're languishing at the bottom of the table. They need to start finding a way to pick up wins.
Yeah, it's been a situation for both of these teams where they do enough just to rescue the point, but that's where the attacking and those goals come in. They need to finish those chances. You finish the chances, you pick up 3 points, they distance themselves from the relegation zone. So the team that is better at finishing their chances in this match will win. I think sometimes it comes down to something that simple as just finishing chances and scoring goals, and I think that's going to be the key for this matchup for both of these teams.
They're both near the bottom in the goal-scoring charts. Cologne just ahead with 12 goals scored. Banfield second fewest, 9 goals for the Taladro. Only Cologne's rivals, Union, have scored less. And perhaps with that in mind, a couple of changes in the attack for Javier Sanguinetti on the road here today. We'll get to that in a second. Baldomero Perlaza dancing his way through traffic, and a chance being created here for Cologne. In behind and into the back of the net.
Oh.
Eric Mesa slams Cologne in front. A brilliant start for the Sabalero. Perlaza, the creator. Mesa, the scorer. 1-0 Cologne.
Well, we talked about it. It's all about finishing those chances. Great movement here in the midfield. Perlaza with a brilliant touch down that right side, winning the ball. Look at him evading a couple of defenders as well, and then creating the opportunity. Brilliant move there by Perlaza to win the ball, advance, and then the touch by Mesa is excellent, and then the finish. What a great finish there. And that's been the issue for both teams, it's the finishing. That wasn't a problem there for Eric Mesa, but Perlaza dodging and evading a couple of midfielders for Banfield, and then linking up and creating the opportunity for Mesa. What a great goal there and a fantastic start. It's the perfect start for Cologne.
Mesa scores his first goal in more than a year. Last found the back of the net in Libertadores action in Paraguay, away to Cerro Porteño in April of last year. It's his first goal in the league since November of 2021. And, well, looks like he's used to scoring goals with that finish, George.
Yeah, it was, someone who's been scoring 20 goals a season the way he finished that opportunity there. That is well done by Eric Mesa. But in control, composed, he took a look up to see where the goal was, where the goalkeeper was, and then just struck it perfectly past Cambeses. Well done by Mesa. Arrua and Perlaza deserving of credit as well for the goal.
And the Sabalero fans started the game with a cheer. That'll help keep them at full voice. Cologne winning a free kick, and they'll try and keep the pressure up. As Rafael Delgado gets set to deliver. Not the best service from the left center half. It's kept alive in the attack. Santiago Pierotti working well. Gets it back on a 1-2. Bounces falling for Cologne at the moment. Pierotti turning inside and turning into pressure, gives it away. Free kick for Banfield, not the start Javier Sanguinetti and the visitors would have been looking forward to.
Yeah, it's a nightmare start with that early goal. Perlaza dribbling through the defense, so that means that the midfielders were not positioning themselves well and were not aggressive enough in winning the ball off of Perlaza for him to go forward. And then those two center backs in Oliveira and Quiroz were just too high up the pitch there, out of position. The wing backs were not in position to help out as well, and Mesa with a well-timed run, and Arrua with that great pass. But Perlaza able to slice through a couple of Banfield midfielders was the key to that goal.
Avila returning towards Delgado. And the captain Facundo Cambeses was off his line, importantly so for Banfield. They drew 0-0 at home against Barracas Central a week ago in their last match. And as I was just talking about before they conceded possession and conceded the opener, they've made a couple of changes and a change in formation as well. Juan Bisans into the corner. Oh, he's done well faking the cross. Carved out space to get it away. Not so bright, the service in the end. They were three at the back against Barracas Central. They've switched to a back four here today. Brian Aleman on your screen, one of the changes. He and Milton Jimenez coming into the starting 11 for Javier Sanguinetti, replacing Alejandro Maciel and Andres Chavez, who moved to the bench.
And one thing about Aleman specifically, excellent with free kicks, a master at set pieces, and also someone that can control the ball in the midfield, distribute, and link up with Rodriguez and Bisans and Jimenez in the attack. So if Aleman gets more touches, Banfield have a very good chance of getting back into this match and getting an equalizer.
Of course, reuniting with his manager from last year, Pipo Gorosito. They were together at Gimnasia in 2022, and both of them leaving not on the best of terms. We'll take a look back at the wonderful work from Perlaza.
You could see the two center backs, they get drawn into the middle because of Juan Chope Avila there. And they had to slide over to the right. And Mesa, he's the right back. And he comes from deep to run into that space. And then the left side of the defense of Banfield, they were beaten so thoroughly there by Perlaza and his dribbling that just opened up the space for him to link up with Arrua. And then Arrua passing it to Mesa with that brilliant finish. That's why it's so important for that back line to be in unison, to move together up, move together back. And if there's a quick turnover in the midfield, those wing backs have to rush back defensively. And those center backs have to maintain their position. Well done by Colón to exploit it.
Bisans down the right, perhaps the early goal, just what the neutral would have ordered here in this early evening in Santa Fe. There's not no pressure on Banfield. They know another scoreless game would result in a loss now. Interesting, Milton Jimenez called into action for just his fourth start, his first in nearly a month's time for El Talaggio here today.
He's trying to shake up the lineup there, see if someone can spark the team.
Referee Pablo Echeverria having a word with Ignacio Chico.
It's a little too early to be wasting time, but don't have the advantage, so they can work that.
And just like their guests today, Colón making two changes from their last time out. 2-0 defeats away at Defensa Justicia on Sunday. Defensa Justicia are beating just about everyone at the moment. It's not the worst result all in all, but it was the first loss under Gorosito. Pirotti to the goal scorer Mesa. Towards the penalty spot. Arrua was there. Banfield struggled to clear, and a foul called against Colón.
That was close because Avila was lurking.
Crunching challenge from Vega won it.
Look who was getting into the area there. Arrua, he was actually unmarked. He just missed the header. It was a good ball dropped in for Arrua, and he missed the header. And it fell for Avila, who missed his opportunity there.
Yeah, as you had pointed out, George, it was a fabulous pass from Arrua into the path of Mesa for the goal. And Mesa was trying to return the assist.
Says, you help me out, I'm going to help you out, basically. That's what it came down to between Mesa and Arrua. And Arrua just missed the header.
Right.
Pretty simple, and made a good run.
Scratch your back, I'll scratch yours. And, well,
exactly.
At the penalty spot, unmarked. Really good opportunity for Arrua. Two changes for the Sabalero from that defeat at Defensa Justicia. A notable one at the back. Their captain, Paulo Goltz, had started all 14 games before tonight. He's out with a heel injury. Lucas Acevedo making his first start since last October. At the heart of the three center backs for the home side. It's foul conceded here by Perlasa. Means a free kick for Banfield.
This is good fundamental football there by Eric Remedi to get his body in between the ball and Perlasa, and he forced Perlasa to go through his back to get to the ball. So well done, very smart there by Remedi. And now Banfield here, let's see what they can do with this set piece. They need to get an equalizer quickly here. They cannot let Colón sit on this lead.
And as George had already mentioned, Aleman, a specialist on set pieces. Left foot low into the area, not cleared, and it fell to Oliveira, who smashed it, but straight at the goalkeeper.
Looked like for a second, look at Oliveira here. He knocks over the defender, almost trips over him, and then when he turns around, the ball is right there. So it's a fortuitous bounce for Oliveira. And I think he was surprised, and then the instinct just said, just strike it toward goal, but Chico was there well positioned.
The man knocked down was the other change in the lineup. As Moreira moved to the bench, in comes Kili Vega. His fifth start of the season for the Sabalero. And a reunion between he and Milton Jimenez, as those two were absolutely sensational for Central Cordoba back in 2021. Jimenez wins the ball back for Banfield. Clever cutback, leaves a defender in the wake. Oh! Slammed off the near post. Ignacio Rodriguez coming close to a leveler. Aleman touches it, rounds the defender. Right-footed efforts. More struggles at the back for Colón, and Bisantz can't get his strike on frame.
Yeah, well, Colón, you see, they get caught with the defenders high up the pitch and then losing the ball in the midfield there. Acevedo, and that leads to a great opportunity. There should have been the equalizer. Banfield getting very close to the equalizer. But we're seeing both back lines just give up too much space in behind them. And it's creating opportunities for both teams. This match is opening up a little bit, and that's a good thing. That makes it more entertaining.
Chico.
Ooh, maybe Chico
was
gets
beaten.
Yeah, looked like maybe.
Did he get a touch, you think?
Yeah. It may be. I look like he might have got enough of a touch to move it onto the post there. Looked like it. It's a slight touch, but it might have been enough to put it onto the post there.
If he did, it is a brilliant stop.
Yeah.
Pedro Soto had come through on the underlap. Aleman tried to find him. In the way was Christian Vega. And Mesa has gone down at the top of the screen off the ball. Just got his arm / wrist, yes, stand on there. It was an integral part of Colón's incredible 2021 year, part of that Copa de la Liga championship winning side that helped earn the berth to Libertadores last season. Mesa he was starting just about every match in 2021, turned into more of a bit part player last year, but he's finding his name back in the starting 11 under Gorosito this season.
Yeah, if he continues to score goals, or at least time his runs well so that he can create goal-scoring chances, then he's going to be very difficult to replace in the 11, become a fixture in that 11.
Acevedo battling with Jimenez. Those two big bodies might be clashing throughout the course of the evening. Perlaza goes down, no foul. Rodriguez, plenty of space to attack, and he will. Vega trying to keep up with them. He finds Jimenez. Jimenez creating room for the shots. Saved by Chico.
Well, I thought for a second there Jimenez might have held the ball too long because he looked like he had a teammate making a move into the middle. You see it again. He's got a teammate wide open at the top of the penalty area and near the penalty spot, but instead goes for goal. Thought he might have held the ball a little too long here, Jimenez, but still generating a shot on target, forcing a save from Chico. So Banfield continue to improve, getting closer to that equalizer.
A good response from El Taladro. And a back and forth start to the match.
Well, these are two teams that do leak goals, so I suspect that the chances would come and that both teams would have numerous chances. It was just a matter of finishing those chances. Colón finished their chances and then Banfield responded one off the post, Chico with a save. So this match is getting entertaining here.
Pierotti couldn't handle the pass from Vega. Soto stepping in, going to come for the Sabalero and their new Centurion, Facundo Garces, wearing the captain's armband tonight in the absence of Goltz, and a big-time prospect for Colón here on the ball. Delgado, his pass cut out. Down go a couple of Banfield players, and the referee spotted a foul.
Yeah, got it. Looked to me like Colón trying to play it out of the back, and they got a little hurried there. They were a little frantic with them trying to play it out of the back there. Banfield with some good pressure, and it forces the turnover. Banfield, of course, have to be more aggressive in winning the ball in the midfield now that they're down a goal.
Just about twice the distance of the 18 here. You'd think a bit far out to have a pop at goal, but Brian Alemán might think otherwise. Four in the wall as they know the threats of Alemán. Alemán goes for goal, and he finds the wall.
Yeah. Cambeses was, or excuse me, Chico was screaming at Perlaza to get into the wall. And that extra body helped out in keeping him in.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing, George. Acevedo crumpling Jimenez to the grounds. Ooh, that was almost into the path of Bizance.
I think Banfield now, they know that they can create goal-scoring opportunities. They can get into the penalty area. There hasn't been much resistance from the defense or the midfield.
Aleman looking for Jimenez. In the way was Acevedo. Played in behind. Avila. Not known for his pace, but he's getting there first. Ahead of Oliveira. Look at the Maradona from Wanchope. Avila. Arrua spun back into pressure. And now Jimenez rips it away from Garces. Jimenez barreling in on goal. Milton Jimenez! It took a deflection. Wonderful work rate from the Banfield number 45.
You could look what he does here when he goes for the shot. Got down there, but when he goes for the shot, he tries to, he doesn't go for power there. It leads to me, from the way he set up his footwork, he was trying to chip the keeper, just trying to delicately place it over the keeper, and then obviously took a deflection.
So corner for El Taladro. Aleman met by the gloves of Chico. Fantastic work on the far side. Looked like Cologne were second favorites. And now it's popped up for Arrua. Arrua cuts around two. Arrua goes for the curler. Straight at Cambeses.
Yeah, now we're starting to see this match open up. You see, look how much space is in between the midfield and then before the attacking players can get into the back line. So, yeah, this match is opening up a little bit here. Well, not a little bit, it's opened up a lot. Plenty of space in the midfield and in the attacking thirds for the teams to operate and create goal-scoring chances.
Really is a fantastic pace. We're about halfway through the first half. That second-minute goal opening things up. Jimenez and Bisant's not on the same page on that occasion. Now we'll get a look, George, at that chance for Jimenez.
You see what he did there with the footwork? He tried to, when he planted that foot underneath, I think he was trying to chip it over the keeper, and then it took a deflection. And this is the right move by Arrua. We've seen this time and time again in world football. From one side, you cut in and then try to swerve it around the keeper to the opposite post. That was what Arrua was trying to do, from the left into the middle. Got the shot on target, but an easy save by Cambeses.
Found the FIFA angle for my fellow video game fans out there.
The FIFA angle, I like that. Well, you know what it is, right? When you come from the left side into the middle, that's the Coutinho. And when you come from the right side into the middle, that's the Arjen Robben. So that's how I distinguish it in my head.
Those inverted wingers.
Yeah.
Might not be able to call it the FIFA angle anymore. It'll be a different name from here on out.
I like that, though, the FIFA angle. I think that's cool. I like that.
And the EA Sports FC angle from now on. Free kick in behind after the rash challenge from Rometti led to that dead ball. It's out for the first Cologne corner.
EA Sports, it's in the game. Do they still say that?
Oh, for sure.
Those commercials. Oh, okay, cool. By the way, just side note, very underrated EA Sports game, NHL Hockey 94-95. Ooh, it was so much fun. Okay.
Oh, an all-timer right there, my friends, an all-timer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Super Nintendo, shout out.
Oh, yeah.
Rafael Delgado on the dead ball. Center back taking the set pieces. He's got great service with his left. Couldn't quite find a teammate on that occasion. Now can Banfield work it on the counter? Oh, outside of the boot. That's wonderfully done. Rodriguez trying to play it in behind, and he just slipped.
Yeah, this is a great move in transition. Obviously, Rodriguez, that last touch was not desirable there for Banfield, but there's a little pass in the defensive half of Banfield that really sets it off, and then the one time to Rodriguez, outside on the right. Good build-up there by Banfield. Very skilled with players in tight spaces.
Vega just slipping in front of his opposite number 5. Draws another free kick from Remedi. Be interesting to see if he can get back on form. Christian Vega, difficult injury last year that kept him out for most of the campaign for Colón after signing for a decent transfer fee. Mesa now clips it up towards Avila, who had gotten in behind, and he headed it straight at Cambeses. Banfield move it quickly up the other ends, but Bisans was looking for a free kick. It's going to go against him.
Oh, he's way offside, yeah. Oh, no, not Avila. It was Acevedo was offside, but Avila was on.
Always
Avila has that. He has that knack, Avila. He knows when to time his runs. Just so much experience. Chope Avila, great man to lead the line, even if he doesn't score a lot of goals, just the way he can maneuver and draw defenders.
I was about to say the same thing. He's always right on the offside line, set a record in the LPF last year for the most offside decisions in a season.
And even though he has that record, and I'm sure it's a record he doesn't, he might not like, it still serves a purpose, and it still puts the defense on edge. It still makes them nervous, because even though he's been offside a lot of times, a lot of times he's been on, and he's been able to go forward and create chances as well. So that's something to watch for Banfield's defense, how they handle him.
The curling attempts from Bisans, and Chico diving for the cameras.
Right idea there, but just, you see the ball is moving. If he is maybe 3 or 4 more meters to his right, that might have gone in, or at least Chico would have actually had to dive to make that save. Just goes to show how much space that these attacking players for both Banfield and Colón have been given in front of those back lines.
Both teams finding space in the attack in the early stages. And Barlasa finding a good ball into Alvarez, who's in plenty of space. Former Banfield man. Getting to the end line, and he wins the corner.
It looked like for a second there, Avila was open. He wasn't marked, but the problem was there were 2 defenders in front of him, in between, so that it would be difficult to reach Avila. So well done to just drive toward the end line there and create the corner kick, or win the corner kick.
Delgado surveys the scene inside the Banfield penalty area. Another outswinging corner perhaps to come. Does swing it out to the penalty spot over the head of Acevedo. Gets back onto it. Delgado did well to get in an onside position. Vega. Was it a shot? Was it a cross? It was tame in the end.
Banfield, every time they get the ball in their defensive half, they're quickly looking to play it up the pitch there to try and get in behind that back line of 3 of Colón. Very kind of direct, fast approach for Banfield.
Not a lot of pace on the back 3 for the home side. Alejandro Cabrera. Exchanging a couple passes. Soto is forward. The left back for Banfield. It stayed in play in the corner. He tried to manufacture one, did Soto, and Jimenez was smashed to the ground by Garces. A free kick near the corner flag. My apologies, it was Brian Aleman who wins this free kick for the visitors.
Aleman gets to the ball first, and then the time-tested technique of getting your body in between the ball there and the defender, winning the free kick. And Carter, you were making a point that I agree with there. It's a slow back line for Colón, so if you can, those Banfield players up top can really attack them with those long balls or these quick direct movements in transition, they can get in behind and create goal-scoring opportunities.
Free kick for Banfield. Aleman swings it out, edge of the 6. Colón can push out. Half an hour gone. It's flown by here at the Elephant Graveyard. Perlaza in the way of that cutback. Soto in the way of the clearance. He picks it up, carries it forward. Soto still. Perlaza gets a tackle in. Cross headed out by Garces for a Banfield corner.
Yeah, Banfield putting the pressure on Colón. Colón have found it very difficult to just even clear their lines there and play the ball out of the back, clear that ball out of there. So some good press being applied by Banfield. Now they just need the reward of a goal.
Take the 2-on-1 situation in the corner. Aleman digs out room for the cross. Kept alive by Rodriguez. Hopefully in towards Bisantz. Cleanly won, says the referee. Slid into the feet of Bisantz. His shot blocked by Acevedo. And now the free ball won by Pierotti, but Avila had a different idea in mind.
Yeah, the ball played in behind Avila. Avila, he sees all that space and he knows he's in between the two center backs, so he just bursts forward. So he goes forward. He wants the ball to be played in a space, and instead got played in behind him. That's when his teammate has to look up, see where Avila is, hold the ball for a second, maybe advance the ball further up the pitch, and then try to play it into Avila 1v1 behind the defense. The space was there. It was just the wrong decision on the pass.
Acevedo, too aggressive according to the referee. Bisantz behind its intended recipient. Now Avila holding things up, waiting for the runners. This pass cut out by Quiros. Quickly though, back again with the Sabalero. Vega stepping inside. Well, he thought he had beaten his man, and he thought incorrect.
Seemed like right there, see the last couple of transition movements here for Colón. It's just all about decision making. They've held the ball too long, or it's been an inaccurate pass. That's what's keeping Colón from getting a second goal here in these last, 7 to 8 minutes. The fact that they just made some poor decisions in terms of the passing, and specifically the timing, and then the weight of the pass as well.
Aleman, not known for his defensive work rate, but kept with it on that occasion. Second header for Acevedo works a bit better than the first. Juan Pablo Alvarez aimless with his forward. Slick back heel from Remedi. Vega stepping in front, went to grounds, and it was a late whistle. It happened right in front of the Cologne bench. They were furious that the whistle didn't come a bit sooner.
When it first happened, you could almost hear the impact there. Oh, you know, I don't see a foul there. Maybe it's the reaction that fools the referee. Let's see. Oh, no, it's a little bit of contact, but I don't think it was a foul. Well, part of being a professional footballer is knowing how to act when there's a little bit of contact there, and I think Vega is a very good actor there. Didn't see too much contact.
Delgado pumps it forward from the free kick. Pierotti knocked it down towards Arrua. Into the channel for Jimenez to pull Acevedo wide. And Acevedo just got a toe on it. Aleman back to Soto. Jimenez, two defenders draped on him, finds Aleman in towards Bisons. Got there in front of the goalkeeper. And Bisons has had plenty of chances in this first half. He can't believe that didn't find the back of the net.
Yeah, he should have put that one away. He got the right angle, made the run, and you wonder if maybe because Chico was coming out that he got a little bit nervous. His back was completely toward goal. That's an awkward header there to score a goal from. He's got to keep his body sideways and then contact the ball with the side of his head, and I think he just got turned around a little too much there and missed the opportunity.
Yeah, I think you're right, George. I think the on-rushing goalkeeper just about frightened Bisons enough, and he didn't go full into the challenge.
Yep. He's got to go full into it, and then if there's contact, he gets the penalty. So, yeah, he's got to sell out in that regard. Just go for it.
He's the leading goal scorer for Banfield this year. Only player with multiple goals. He has two. A couple of penalties scored in back-to-back weeks a couple of match days ago.
Both, you have to say that both teams, the attacking players up top, they've had plenty of space to operate. It's not like the back lines of Colón or Banfield have been really tightly marking them, so they've had plenty of space to operate and create goal-scoring chances, especially specifically for Banfield. Now Jimenez and Bisons really have to put those balls over the line into the back, and then they got to take advantage of those opportunities.
Alvarez gets the 1-2. Back from Avila. He went for goal, Alvarez.
Yeah. Alvarez has to play it back into the middle there, but what happened is he favored his right foot, so he had to open his hips there. If he plays it with the left, he can kind of just put it into the path of Avila, who's making the run, but when he's right-footed, the angle makes it harder to play it into the pass, so he went for goal. He's got to have a little more faith in his left foot to drop it and just play that ball through to the top of the six for Avila making the run.
Loose ball picked up by Aleman. He leaves it. Rodriguez finds Jimenez, who's out wide. They might prefer him to be on the end of service, but he's done well. Almost did well. Vega in at the vital seconds for Colón. Now Avila He's got Pierotti running in behind. Oh, he faked the pass. Sent the defender to the grounds. And Pierotti dribbles out of play.
How about the footwork of Abila, right? He's a big man. You don't expect him to be fast. But with his footwork and controlling the ball, he is very quick, very nimble. Well done by Abila. In those tight spaces there, Abila is very difficult to dispossess.
Leads the team in both goals and assists. 5 goals on the season, 3 assists for Wanchope Abila. Heavy touch from Aleman. Vega in to steal it away. Abila's pass was off the mark. Remedi couldn't do anything with it. Intriguing match up north. At the same time, here this early evening in Argentina, Belgrano lead by a 0-0 over Atlético Tucumán as they approach halftime, but a sending off already for the Pirata. Atlético Tucumán fight their way back in the match, or can Belgrano continue their fantastic start to the year?
Belgrano, they're challenging near the top of the table there. Some results go their way in this round. They could be on the podium.
Yeah, as it stands,
just off the podium. So, yeah.
Put them into 4th place with plenty of the top teams still to play over the weekend. Of course, it's Super Classico weekend in Argentina. That highlights not only the weekend, but the year.
Sure does. I'm interested to see how River respond, because they got smashed in Rio by Fluminense, who might be the best team on the continent right now, the way they're playing. So I want to see how River Plate respond. You wonder if maybe they were looking ahead to the Super Classico, because it's to me the best rivalry in all of world football. And I don't want to say they took Fluminense lightly, because they couldn't, but maybe they had one eye in the Super Classico. I don't know. So I'm interested to see how River respond after getting beat down like that against Fluminense.
Boca, meanwhile, with a big win in Chile against Colo-Colo, following up their win against Racing. Perhaps things looking better for the Xeneize under Almiron as of late.
Yeah, Almiron, if you believe some of the reports, he's changed some of the things in the dressing room, in the complex there, and it's starting to work for Boca. Almiron, kind of like Gorosito, a manager that has a lot of experience in the first division in Argentina and has a good track record.
Of course, AFA Play will have all the coverage from El Monumental tomorrow. Pre-game, post-game, English and Spanish. For the Super Classico Sunday.
And I think it's the first one too in the new, they're playing at the Mas Monumental, right? So it's the first one in that newly renovated stadium. So wow, it's gonna be a great atmosphere.
It's gonna be quite the event tomorrow.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna have to do that on my bucket list. Watch a Super Classico at the Monumental and one at La Bombonera.
Yeah, I think that's on every football fan's bucket list.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, Abila does well to hold things up. Alvarez streaking in behind. An important touch away by Matias Romero. Clever deke there from Cabrera. He sends the Cologne man spinning, and all of a sudden it's Banfield on the attack, end to end the first half. Bisantz, well worked from El Taladro. Alvarez tracking back. And now Bisantz is hearing it from Romero, who thought the pass should have come from him instead of, in turn, from Jimenez. Alejandro Cabrera started the move with that lovely ghosting of his defender.
Yeah, he sure did. Left all kinds of space in the midfield there for Banfield to go forward, and they It's been the last couple of touches there. Well, in that particular movement going forward, last pass just betraying Banfield to get that shot on target, but the space is opening up there. And Colón, they're playing 3 in the back, but when they lose the ball, those 2 wingbacks aren't tracking back fast enough to make it 5, and that's an opening up opportunities for Banfield.
In towards Pierotti. The bottom corner! Colón in stoppage time, double the lead. Christian Vega, a surprise inclusion in the starting 11. He gets his first goal for the Sabalero, and he makes it Colón 2, Banfield 0.
Well, Avila is involved. He might not get the assist here, but look, 2 defenders is what Avila attracts, and that allows Vega the space. And he strikes it very well, kept it low. You wonder if the goalkeeper, it takes a deflection on the way to goal. When we look at it, looks like it took a deflection off of, didn't see who, but definitely got to give credit to Vega for the goal there. Well done by Colón and deserving of a 2-0 advantage. Banfield missing their chances.
Last kick of the first half, Kili Vega doubling the advantage as he adds on to the early opener in the 2nd minute from Eric Mesa. 2 players scoring their first goals of the season, giving the Sabalero the lead at the break. George Metellus, it's been entertaining. Banfield have had chances as well, but Javier Sanguinetti's men down 2 as they head into the halftime team talk.
Yeah, Colón have finished their chances much more efficiently than Banfield have finished their chances, and that's going to be something to watch for in the second half to see if Banfield can get a couple of goals and at least rescue a point.
It's been entertaining in Santa Fe, and the red and black half, the Sabalero fans cheer their team into the tunnel as we go to halftime with the score Colón 2, Banfield 0.
Welcome back to the Estadio Brigadier Stanislao Lopez. Right at the beginning and right at the end of this first half, Colón striked with Eric Mesa and with Christian Vega and has pulled away 2 goals from Banfield in this game for round number 15 of the Argentinian Liga Profesional de Fútbol. We're having the schedule right now, 5 games, 3 games and 2 games and a half, and we have no goals from the away teams. Godoy Cruz has played against Unión 0-0. Barraca Central beats Instituto. Lanús today beats Huracán. Colón is 2-0 ahead of Banfield, and Belgrano is leading 1-0 against Atlético Tucumán. The rest of the round, Argentinos Juniors Independiente. Tomorrow, Rosario Central Platense. Don't miss the Super Clásico on AFA Play live from the stadium with a large crew, both in English and Spanish, bringing you the Super Clásico. Then Tigre Newell's and Estudiantes Vélez complete the day. On Monday, Arsenal Gimnasia, San Lorenzo Defensa y Justicia, Racing Talleres, en Central Córdoba, aquí en Sarmiento. River Plate is leading the standings on 34 points, followed by San Lorenzo on 28, then Defensa y Justicia, Belgrano, Lanús, Talleres, Estudiantes, Rosario Central, Godoy Cruz, Tigre, Argentinos Juniors, Newell's, Boca, and Racing. Then Central Córdoba, Platense, Colón, Barraca Central, Instituto, Vélez, Sarmiento, Huracán, Banfield, Gimnasia, Atlético Tucumán, Independiente, Arsenal and Unión. Let's have a look at the highlights of this first half. This is the first chance at the first minute of the game. Eric Mesa with a fantastic goal. He's very interesting right back after the great pass by Cristian Arrua to the back of the defenders. And Vega with a fantastic finishing. Mesa, sorry. Acevedo, pressure in the attack, and Banfield takes the ball away with the cross. And the ball hits in the post. Eric Mesa. And then this header by Ramon Ávila. Juan Bizanz with the shot from range. Here is Aleman with the cross, and Bizanz anticipating. Banfield trying to stay in the game, attacking and dominating a bit of the action. In the cross against Ignacio Chico. A very good finishing by the holding midfielder. And this is all for the first half between Colón and Banfield. We'll have a look at the goals from earlier in the round right now. Then a mistake, the pressure over Jonathan Bay. The ball won by Facundo Mater, possibly the best player of Barracas in the season. And a fantastic finishing by Bruno Sepúlveda. 5th goal in the tournament for him. Top scorer of the club in the league. Facundo Mat, crucial win for Lanús, who are in 5th place of the standings. It's a very comfortable lead for Colón, ladies and gentlemen. We are sharing the game for this round number 15 of the Argentinian Liga Profesional de Fútbol. Tomorrow, don't forget and don't miss the Super Clásico live from the stadium. We'll have an exclusive coverage inside, live from the stadium for the previous hour until the kickoff, and then half an hour of post-game analysis. Nicolás Samuilov, Peter Coates, Andrés Schimmelmann, and myself, Francisco Aure, will be glad to bring you the Super Clásico to all around the world. So we invite you to join us. But back here to the Brigadier Stanislao Lopez Stadium, Colón is leading 2-0. Game brought to you by Carter Agustin and George Metellus. And George, wow, if there is, loads of years, for a long time they said, Brazil, you will recognize a Brazilian club because they will score at the first minute and at the last minutes of each game. It was a little bit the mood in this game, in which Colón, despite the chances that we saw Banfield had during the first half, found the goals in 2 critical moments, which can be absolutely devastating in terms of the psychological condition. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, that's something that definitely Javier Sanguinetti will have to deal with. Yeah, definitely it's a situation where that early goal could have been deflating for Banfield, and then right at the end, that shot, that goal by Vega could be deflating as well. Definitely frustrating for Sanguinetti, but we've seen time and time again in this league that a team will go up 2 goals and then they lose. So this is not a situation where Banfield can't overcome. This is a lead that they can overcome. They just need to get a goal early. They can't leave it for late. If they can get a goal in the first 10-15 minutes of the first half, then they have a very good chance of winning this match or at least getting a point. But certainly very deflating. If there is a silver lining, is that it took place in the first half. They have 45 minutes to get 2 goals. But the main thing for Banfield is making sure they don't give up any more goals. They give up another goal before they score a goal, then it's over, and I think Colón cruise to the 3 points.
We'll have the teams back in the field shortly. Thank you, George, as always, for your expertise, your concepts. Always interesting to hear. As we are waiting for Colón and Banfield to be back in the field. After this game, we'll have Argentinos Juniors hosting Independiente. Very interesting game to watch. In the meantime, we tell you that Belgrano is leading 1-0 against Atlético Tucumán, with the goal scored by their tournament's top scorer for Belgrano, Pablo Vegetti. Alejandro Rébola was sent off, the center back. In a critical situation now for Atlético Tucumán, as now Sarmiento could move just 3 points behind. Atlético Tucumán and Banfield both are losing. So it's, George, a sensitive loss for Banfield, as they are starting to be caught by the teams behind them in the standings.
Yeah, Banfield cannot afford to drop any more points. That's why this second half is going to be so important. They have to finish their chances. We saw one off the post. Bisans had a couple of opportunities as well. So second half is going to be very important for Banfield, controlling the rhythm of the game, getting a lot of opportunities and shots on target, and then making sure defensively, if they do lose the ball, that they get back in transition so that they don't give up another goal. This next 45 minutes is all about Banfield and their movement and their aggression going forward, and we'll see how Colón react to that.
The teams are approaching slowly back to the field. We'll see if Banfield makes any changes, coached by that man, Javier Sanguinetti. 16 years of career playing for Banfield. All his career, but just one season in which he played at Racing from 1991 to 2007. He wore Banfield's shirt. Here's Nestor Gorosito, a coach that certainly could change the face of Colón. As the teams are back into the field, ladies and gentlemen, Carter Agustin and George Metellus will bring you the second half. It's Colón 2, Banfield 0.
Thank you very much, Francisco. As George mentions, the pressure on Banfield now to try and come from behind. Fortunately for Javier Sanguinetti and his men, they have struggled for goals this season, just 9 in now 14 and a half matches. They only have 2 games in which they scored more than once. They'll need to find a third and find all the goals in the second half here in Santa Fe.
Well, the good thing is, Carter, that it's not unusual for teams to come back from 2-0 down. So there is hope for Banfield, and we'll see if Colón, how aggressive they will be to try to get a third goal early in the second half.
Away we go to start the second half in Santa Fe. They've switched sides. Banfield, the visitors from the southern part of Buenos Aires, starting in possession. They win a foul and a free kick in the attacking half. They'll hope for a better start to this half than the first. Colón scoring their goals to open the half and close it. A second-minute goal from Eric Mesa and a 45-minute +2 goal for Christian Kili Vega. The difference as we head here into the second stanza. It looks like no changes at the break, George. They did have 11 shots in the first half, Banfield, which is something they usually struggle to produce. So there were some gaps they found in behind the Colón back line.
Yeah, and one thing that is often known in the game is if you're struggling to score goals, yeah, that's an issue. But as long as you're getting the chances, if you're getting the chances, eventually the goals will come. And Banfield, they're getting the chances. You mentioned 11 shots. They had a good number, 2 on target. So they're getting chances. They're creating opportunities. The spaces are there, as you said. So now it's just a matter of finishing. That was something that we keyed upon in the beginning of this match, is the finishing for Banfield, because they are struggling to score goals. But the opportunities are there, so that means the goals should be coming. If you're a fan of Banfield, that's the way to look at it. Give you a little bit of a silver lining, some shining light there.
Yeah, just the perspective, some comparison in the 0-0 draw last Saturday against Barraca Central at home. One of the worst games of the first half of the season, it must be said. Banfield had 6 shots in total through the course of the match. Only 1 on target in that game, so they've already doubled both of those figures in the first half away from home this evening.
I think deep down, the players, they want to play an attacking style. They want to go forward and pepper the goal with shots.
We had quite a few notable players lost from last season to this. They've dribbled themselves into danger here. Pierotti applying the pressure, and a corner carved out by Santiago Pierotti.
There might have been a little miscommunication in the back there, a couple of Banfield players.
Yeah, it sure did. They had a couple opportunities to clear. Instead, it's a corner for Mesa to curl in. Curl out towards the penalty spot, and it's defended well. He gets another chance, does Mesa. It's charged down and blocked. Sanz up towards Jimenez. It was Remedi on the near side. Remedi asking a lot of Milton Jimenez on that occasion. Just haven't been able to replace some key departures, most notably Giuliano Galoppo. What a player in his time at Banfield, and now playing so well for Sao Paulo after moving over last August. After that, Ramiro Enrique moved over to Orlando City in MLS in the offseason. And Juan Manuel Cruz in a really big dispute with Javier Sanguinetti, not playing a part this season as well.
One way, if you're Banfield, to deal with those departures is tactically just tighten things up and...
Soto. First touch away from Garces. and Acevedo in the way inside his own 6-yard box.
Yeah, when you lose players like that, there's going to be a drop, but you can ease a little bit of that drop, or you can minimize the drop in performance with some good tactical adjustments. And so I think Javier Sanguinetti is still trying to make those tactical adjustments.
Christian Vega is down after the coming together with Milton Jimenez. Those two former teammates at Central Cordoba. Both of them had incredible 2021 campaigns, which led to Milton Jimenez getting a big move to Necaxa in Liga MX, and led to Colón splashing a decent amount of cash for Kili Vega. The apology offered from the big man.
Smaller clubs, that's where they really make their money, in developing, finding these young players that are talented and then developing them so that the bigger clubs can give them those big transfer fees, and that helps keeps the smaller clubs afloat financially.
And Kili Vega spent his whole career with Central Cordoba. Oh, what a move this is. In for Avila, first touch let him down.
Yep.
Juan Pablo Alvarez dancing his way down the left side to create the chance for the Sabalero.
And in the first half, we're praising Avila with his touches on the ball and his footwork. And then it's perfectly set up for him to one-time the shot, and then that first touch betrays him. Probably should have one-timed the shot there. But what a great run down that left side. Look at just gliding between three defenders, and then the poise to look up, look for a teammate, and Avila just, that poor first touch, and he knows it. But still, that was some great work there on the left side of the attack there for Colón by Alvarez.
Vega had spent his whole career with Central Cordoba. Alvarez had spent his whole career with Banfield before moving to Colón. And he's done well to anticipate Remedi on that occasion. The crowd wanted the ball over the top. Instead, he checks to Avila, and they can build the move here, Colón. Alvarez in behind, too much on it. Arrua finding the goalkeeper.
Yep. It would have been difficult. Had Alvarez caught up to, we had to go for goal because both Pierotti and Avila were not in a position to receive any ball through the middle or any square ball into the middle.
On the far side for El Taladro, the drill of Banfield. Soto asking for it. Instead, it's to the feet of Rodriguez. So he spun around the challenge of Vega, tried to slip it behind for Aleman. Pierotti, always full of running. Charges down the goalkeeper. Good distribution though from Cambeses under the pressure. And it's won back on the far side by Arrua. Avila continues. He finds Arrua. Looked dangerous for a second. Remedi in the way.
No resistance through the midfield for either team. They win the ball back pretty easily, and then there isn't much in terms of a holding midfielder or anyone in the middle to slow down the progress of either side here.
Chance developing. Milton Jimenez tried to find Bisantz.
Jimenez needs to play that ball sooner. Bisantz was there. Jimenez won too many touches there, and that allowed the defense to get back.
Hollywood pass attempted by Aleman. He's got the ability, but it just hasn't come off for him in the colors of green and white this year.
Yeah, he's kind of cold here in terms of, when I say cold, I mean not as many touches as I'm sure Banfield would like that could spark the attack. So maybe he's got to move higher up the pitch there, although that's not really his role. He's a number 10, but he's not an attacking creative player that's high up the pitch. He's more of a deep lying midfield playmaker. But they got to definitely find a way to get him the ball more often.
Ruo's nipping at the heels of Quiros. Forced back to the captain and goalkeeper Cambeses. Soto saw the pressure coming from Mesa. He touches it inside. Bright work from the left back. Here come Banfield. Bisant's searching for space to get the cross away. Remedi. Romero. And they never got the service into the area, and Ignacio Rodriguez is letting his teammates on the far side hear it.
The ball, in that instance, I think for Banfield, the ball needed to be played faster, quicker. And he just held the ball a little too long there, and that allowed Colón to get the numbers back defensively. And of course, when they get the numbers back defensively, it shuts down the space. It limits the room, the space that the strikers can create, or at least limits the space that the strikers can move into. Shuts down all the areas.
The ball kid's getting a stern talking to from the referee.
Now, can the ball kids get a yellow card? Can you give the yellow cards to the ball kids? Yeah,
I've seen a few get sent off in Argentina, actually.
Okay. Imagine that you're a ball kid and you get sent off. That's.
I think if it. Oh, here's Abila. I couldn't bring it under his control. I think if it's in a win, it's somewhat of a badge of honor for a ball kid to get a red card, as he would have thought he helped his team. But just getting word though from our man back in the studio, Francisco Aure, he said red cards for the ball kids mean they can't play in for their youth team in the next game. So it does transfer over. There is punishment.
Okay. All right, cool. Thanks, Francisco Fran. That's great knowledge there. I did not know that.
Acevedo steps well to win possession. Haven't, at the moment, missed on their leader at the back. Goltz being out through the heel injury tonight. Might Acevedo be tested here? It's over the top for Jimenez. Difficult ball to play. Decent idea.
Yeah, and Jimenez got in behind the defense, but that ball a little too long there, but it's the right idea.
Garces working his way down the sideline wonderfully. He finds Mesa. Mesa. Let the chance dissolve.
I think Mesa's very unselfish here, trying to play that ball into Abila at the top of the six there. Considering he had a goal and the pass was difficult, I thought maybe he'd go for goal there and take the shot. But instead, just was unselfish there, which is a good thought. You gotta like the referees in Argentina. They have no shame in chastising players, the ball kids, the coaches.
Seen Pablo
Fearless
Echeverria
they are.
looking like a headmaster in the school.
Yeah. Good. Drill instructor, training instructor in the military, yeah.
First time helped on by Alvarez. Arrua. Back to Alvarez. Good bit of backtracking from Remedi to help win it back for Banfield. It can be Sanz too. Not much. Vega slips in, wins the tackle, wins the throw. First goal for his new club, Kili Vega. So that's difficult injury he suffered in 2022 after moving over to Colón. Didn't get much playing time. It's his first goal since November of 2021 for Central Córdoba against Independiente. Awkward landing for Ignacio Chico.
Yeah.
He went up and picked that
yeah,
off the
man.
head like Randy Moss.
Yeah. Looking like a Hall of Fame wide receiver there.
A great catch, and Milton Jimenez is a big man to go up and get that ball over top of.
Much harder to catch that than, was it harder to catch a round football than the oval pigskin football? I mean, I would think it's, never thought of that.
We both got those sticky gloves, goalkeepers and receivers nowadays.
Yeah, yeah. With all that stuff they put on the gloves there, they could catch anything. When it comes to balls in sports, that's what I mean.
Jimenez has been full of energy, trying to make this rare start count. He finds Rodriguez, plenty to aim at, and he couldn't pick out a teammate. Delgado gets it clear for Colón. Rodriguez shifts it back into the path of Soto. Banfield looking dangerous. Soto for Jimenez. Jimenez still. Jimenez trying to barrel his way through the double team.
That's exactly what happened. Just couldn't get the turn. Two players on top of him. He just couldn't get that turn so that he could get the shot off there. That double team in the middle of the defense for Colón, working out very well. And they have been able to neutralize Jimenez for the most part. Some desperate defending because once again, Banfield winning the ball in the midfield and then some good passing in the space to create that opportunity going forward. The chances are there for Banfield. They just got to finish them.
We'll make the first couple of changes. One at the back as Emmanuel Insua checks in for Pedro Soto at left back. And the other in attack is Alejandro Piedrahita. Comes in to replace Brian Aleman. Ignacio Rodriguez comes infield, checks back out to Insua. Cross in towards Jimenez. Picked up on the edge of the area. Might Cabrera. Back into the box. Big time block from Acevedo. Rodriguez onto it. And Chico grabs it wide of his near post.
But look at the marking for Colón here. Well, that's a clever movement into that space there. That shot that was blocked by Acevedo. And the rebound. That's a good move there. And that's just last-ditch defending to prevent the shot on target.
Hiroti got in behind Insua.
Yeah, this match is getting stretched out here. Starting to see open spaces on both ends. We haven't too much in terms of the holding midfielders, kind of locking down their sector of the pitch. Had some good play out wide as well, so both teams exposing the holes in the other side's defense.
Past the hour mark in Santa Fe. 2-0 Colón lead with goals to open and close the first half. It's thrown in behind, and Avila got on the end of it. And Sua now trying to bring it forward for Banfield. Plenty of space to operate on the far side. Romero. Yeah. Bisans has it won back by Vega. Rodriguez checks two. Colón marking him on the throw.
Yeah, Colón very loose here in the midfield there. It's kind of some token pressure, just trying to keep players in front of them.
Jimenez had slipped in behind. And that was a good opportunity. Bisans was trying to find Insua.
See some great movement here. Banfield is really moving well and timing their runs in the space very well. Now, they just need to finish the chances. It seems that right when they get into their final third, that last touch necessary to score a goal, Colón get the numbers back and kind of prevent anything.
Chance here, Remedi stands it up to the back stick. And it was there to be struck on the volley. Piedrahita got good connection. Delgado with a massive block for Colón.
And once again, it's like we mentioned, the last touch necessary to score the goal. Colón comes up with a save, a block, something. And, I mean, Delgado wasn't even looking at the ball. He had his back toward the ball there, and it was fortunate for Colón.
Corner whipped in on the goalkeeper. Good strength on the punch. The Sabalero clear the danger. Insua tackled away by Arrua. Cabrera, though, wins it back for Banfield. Deft header to the near side. In by Rodriguez, looking for the 1-2. Takes him a bit wide. And he didn't get a touch off the defender in the end. Promising looking move for Banfield, goal kick.
Yeah, it certainly was a promising looking move, and we're starting to see Banfield control the possession and make moves down the left side of their attack here, exploiting the right side of the defense of Colón. Good one-touch football there. As mentioned, the ball played him, taking him a little too far wide, but still that run was there. More accurate pass, and he would have been one-on-one in against Chico. So this is starting, if you're Colón, you're starting to be concerned here that maybe we're giving up too much space, especially on the right side of the defense.
That Heading into the final 20 minutes of the match. And pressure starting to build on Colón. They do have the 2-goal advantage. It looks like with the subs, change in approach from Le Taladro. Vega called for the foul. No yellow cards thus far. Pisans can turn. Vega, another tackle. Pisans once again spins into the attack. This time he gets around Vega with a lovely step over. Insua into the area. Chico up above Jimenez.
Exactly what Chico needs to do. Chico just get in the air. Anytime the ball's in the air, he's got to attack the ball in the air. Because if there's any contact 10 times, they're going to whistle in favor of the goalkeeper. So he's got to be aggressive here. He's got to keep this clean sheet for Colón.
Delgado strides out of the back with the ball for the Sabalero. Finds Arrua. Now Vega. And he spots the run of Mesa. Too much on it though in the end.
Yeah.
Disappointing.
Well-timed run there by Mesa. Just too heavy of a pass there, but you saw how much space he had in front of him. So if Colón can maintain some possession, that might be something they can exploit there. The space given up on the left side of the defense of Banfield.
Vega is chasing things down, but Banfield get a free kick and quickly get the ball back moving into the attack. Remedi timing his pass. Romero into the area, unmarked header. Pisans didn't do much with it in the end.
Yeah, it's a great ball in, and look at the Colón defenders here. Nobody tracks Pisans, and they just stand and watch the ball. The only player that maybe makes a move toward the ball is Garcés, but he doesn't elevate to win the header. Pisans, if you're Colón and people go to Cito, you have to say, you have to mark him and not let him get into the area there, or at least knock him off his track to the ball.
Yeah, Mesa didn't quite keep his eyes on Pisans. One eye on the cross, one eye on the man. That's what they say for defenders.
Both eyes were on the ball, and the defender slipped in past, the attacker slipped in past him.
Good cross in towards Jimenez. Blocked out for a corner.
And right now, Colón, their goal is under siege right now. Their goal is under siege, and if they don't get a spell of possession, they're gonna give up a goal, because Banfield keep getting closer and closer. This is a well-timed run, clearly onside. Jimenez, what he did, what I liked, which was clever, he slowed up a little bit, and then when he knew the ball was coming in, that's when he burst forward to threaten the goal there and put Acevedo on warning.
And a couple of changes come on for the visitors. 2 more moves in the attack for Javier Sanguinetti. Andres Chavez, Sebastian Sosa Sanchez take the place of Milton Jimenez and Eric Remedi. They await the corner, which is in from Rodriguez. Now back into danger by Chavez. Hacked away by Colón. Players have stayed forward in white and green. Lumped back into the area. Garcés clears only as far as Rodriguez. He went for the cross, and Perlaza, man underneath it. Delgado, not the best defensive header. Piedrahita making the run, and he's picked out. Cross into the area, attacked well by Acevedo. Pierotti.
Yep.
Just sliding ahead of Insua, and the first yellow card of the night goes to the Banfield man.
Yep. And Pierotti, once again, it's that technique. Get the body in between the defender and the ball, and that's what he does there. And coming in late there. And thought he didn't commit the foul, but he did.
Manu Insua, first in the book this evening.
Yep. And for the most part, it's been a pretty clean match here. So, first yellow card in about, what, 74th, 75th minute? That means that both teams are playing some good, skillful football without having to be overly aggressive or physical to win the ball back.
Couple of changes coming for the home side now. Their first two substitutions. Julian Chico coming in for Carlos Orrua, and the crowd giving an appreciative applause for Kili Vega after he scored his first goal for the club.
Yeah, let's see if it holds up here. Put in some hard work and got his first goal there. If you're a Colón fan, you're hoping it's the first of many more.
He's replaced by Tomas Galvan. Two changes in the center of the park as Colón try and hold on to the 2-goal advantage. Into the final quarter of an hour we go here at the Elephants Graveyard. Belgrano still lead 1-0 over Atlético Tucumán. Last match of the night coming up after this one. Argentinos Juniors playing host to Independiente before Super Clásico Sunday. Of course, we've spoken all about River Boca, but a couple more wonderful games on store for you tomorrow. Tigre against Newell's, Estudiantes against Vélez before Monday. San Lorenzo against Defensa y Justicia, top of the table clash.
Ooh.
And Racing against Talleres. What a weekend we have, George.
Ooh, man, that San Lorenzo Defensa game, I'm going to have to watch that. That is going to be fun. Top of the table clash. Defensa y Justicia appear to be back. Remember 2 or 3 seasons ago, they were maybe the most entertaining team in Argentine football. They slipped a little last couple of seasons, but they appear to be back. That's going to be a great one.
Two teams that know how to defend well. Two teams that are in scintillating form.
Especially with Defensa y Justicia, they made their reputation by playing an attractive, aggressive, attacking football and didn't leave much in terms of defending. But now in this campaign, their defense has been excellent. So, man, that's going to be a very tactical, entertaining match.
Sebastian Becasese, of course, now in Spain. And it's a more pragmatic approach for the Halcón.
Yeah.
Insua chopped it behind Pierotti, and he draws a free kick in a decent position for Banfield.
Yeah, with Brian Aleman no longer in the game, we're interested to see who will take the free kicks here.
Off the pitch, of course. is more suited for a right-footed approach anyways.
Yep. Yeah, from that angle, you could see how a right-footed strike could score the goal there. You could bend it, natural swerve and hook of a right-footed kick. So set up perfectly for right-footed.
It's Bisant's right-footed into the wall. Poor effort.
Yeah.
About shin high. And it might be a counter. Avila in behind using his body frame well. He's won it back again. It's a good mix-up.
Ooh.
Avila fighting. And it was Chavez all the way back defensively as the last man for Banfield.
Yeah, good hustle there by Avila just to try and create something there, put the pressure on that back line, or at least in transition, I should say. Possession for Colón in their attacking half. They need a good spell of possession here for about 8 to 10 minutes to close this match out because their defense has been under siege for the majority of the second half.
Oh, what a rip! Straight from the throw, Julian Chico chested it in to a howling effort, fended off by Cambeses.
Great touch there by Chico, and then the save by Cambeses. Great turn there. Catching the Banfield defense sleeping. And then Chico coming up with a big shot.
Mesa delivers the corner. It's just over the head of Perlaza. Delgado, the last man back. Lofts it forward. Garces was lurking. Touch forward by Quiros. And that is not going to do it for Banfield.
Yeah, that was a little bit desperate there with that long ball attempt. The way they had been building the attack going forward in the second half was ideal. Just short passes, one-touch movement, playing the ball into space. That was working. It's just been the final third, that final touch, that finishing effort to score the goal. That's been what's missing here.
Posting up from Chavez, and he touches the header into the path of Bisantz. On the swivel, Bisantz gets the cross into the area. Alvarez heads, but only as far as Chavez. Oliveira forward, and he sprays it to the near side. Insua, plenty of space to operate. Insua curls one outward and over the heads of everybody. Picked back up by Cabrera now. Rodriguez. And again with Ignacio Rodriguez. Fabulous pass to Insua, who's offside, and he really shouldn't be.
Yeah, he's got to do a better job of his positioning here. That's a great control there by Chico. Look at Cambeses. He was ready. He saw it the whole way. He was ready to make that save. Well done by Cambeses to get himself into position as well.
Mesa storming forward, and then he drew in the challenge from Bisantz. Pleading his innocence, but a free kick for Colón.
Oh, yeah.
And what is it?
He has no reason to be upset. He committed a foul. That's a very clear foul there.
What on earth is he complaining about?
Exactly, yeah. There's no reason for him to be complaining. That's a clear foul. I think it's just the frustration with the way the match has gone so far for Banfield, but I mean, it's a clear foul. He clips him from behind. I mean, it's a borderline yellow card.
Mesa drew the free kick. We'll take it. Curls it. Oh, it's well attacked, but Banfield just about get the header clear. Chico is the man storming in.
Yeah.
Calm as you like from Delgado.
Yeah, Chico, we mentioned Randy Moss and made an American football comment or analogy. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. Chico flew in like he was a running back going over the pile on the goal line for a touchdown there.
Like Sweetness himself.
Yeah. Well, they do have a Nueva Chicago in Argentine football in lower division, so you know there's a connection there with Sweetness.
Couple more subs getting set to come into the match for Colón to try and kill the game off. Perlaza. Second touch was a tackle. Referee to the pocket. It's a yellow for Bol Lumero Perlaza.
Yeah, he knew it too. You see, not much complaining. He knew it. Quiet match for him in the second half after that run he made in the first half that led to the goal.
Santiago Pierotti withdrawn. On comes Laureano Troncoso. And they'll bring off the other goal scorer as well, Eric Mesa. Barnstorming effort down the right. He opens the scoring back in the second minute. He's replaced by Gian Nardelli. Much more defensive-minded player now, occupying that right wing back position.
Yeah, it's all about, at this point for Colón, just holding on to the lead, not allowing any more goals. Don't expect them to go forward that much, Colón, from this point on.
Just gonna say, Nardelli usually plies his trade as a center back. Banfield were preparing. Yeah, go ahead, George.
Yeah. Oh, with Nardelli on now, every ball in the air, they're going to attack in the air defensively to prevent a goal here from Banfield.
Yeah, trying to match the big strikers, Chavez and Sosa Sanchez on for Banfield. They were preparing their fifth change, the visitors. Horacio Tihanovic didn't spot if he came onto the pitch. Cross dug out from the end line. Punch on it from Chico. All hands on deck for Colón. And Troncoso.
Yeah.
Doing anything to get the ball clear.
Yeah. Now the marking really has to be tight here for Colón.
Piedrahita, good cross in. And a great clearing header from Chico. And Avila has stayed forward. One-on-one, Avila. Just about managed to keep the ball. Troncoso. Oh, just over the bar. It was Tomas Galvan, the man who picked up the loose change and nearly found a third for Colón.
Well, how about Avila there? Running at the defense, couldn't get a clean touch on to get a shot, so he peeled it back, dropped it back for Galvan, and he almost scored a golazo there.
Rodriguez steaming forward, and he slipped it in well. And Chavez can't bring it under his control. What a chance to cut the lead in half.
Yeah, that's been there for Banfield the entire second half, and it once again is just the last touch necessary to put it over the line into the back of the net has not been there for Taladro. It's been down that left side where they have caused the most problems. The left side of the attack for Banfield, the right side of the defense for Colón, and they just haven't been able to put away those chances.
Late challenge on the far side. Yellow card for Julian Chico, brother of the goalkeeper, Ignacio. There's confirmation that Tihanovic did come on for Bizanz. Stoppage time in Santa Fe, time running out for Banfield. This result for Colón will move them up to 17th temporarily.
And basically the story of this match, kind of a tale of two halves. First half, Colón getting the goals, looking better in the attack, and then the second half, Banfield going forward and looking like they would get a goal, but in the end, it was just the finishing. They just couldn't finish their chances. I'll have to do some extra training drills about finishing in those training sessions for Sanguinetti.
Avila, what a turn. And what a strike, just wide. Wonderful work. Troncoso. Really picked out the far corner.
Look at the pass here by Avila. Troncoso tracking back there, kind of stutter step back to make himself a target, then a quick turn. That's what was the difference. It's a quick turn. It's the right idea, and unfortunately just swerving away. That would have been a fantastic third goal. That was obviously would have sealed the victory.
This is his fourth appearance of the season, only his 9th as a professional, still looking for his first career goal, and he very nearly found it. And now Banfield just give possession right back. And they're sensing a win, the Sabalero fans.
You got to start him young, Carter. You got to start him young with their fandom. If not, they choose the rival team, and then there's all kinds of issues in the family.
She's loving it. No chance of her being an Union fan in the future.
Yeah.
Referee whistle to lips. Full time at the Elephant Graveyard. Colón back to winning ways. And they move up to 17th in the table for the time being. Gorosito has turned this team into a very difficult one to beat. More paltry attacking displays from Banfield. as they are once again held without a goal. It was done early from Colón, the second minute from Mesa, and in first half stoppage time from Vega. The 2 goals enough in the end, George Metellus, to get all 3 points for the Sabalero.
Yeah, well deserved for Sabalero. Yeah, the second half they were under pressure, but Banfield just couldn't finish their chances. Colón taking advantage of their chances in the first half and holding on, and Banfield, they're in serious trouble. If they don't find a way to start scoring goals and finishing the opportunities, they could find themselves deep in the relegation battle, and that could be a problem. But Colón getting a huge victory and things starting to turn around under Pipo Gorosito.
Full volume from the fans in red and black here in Santa Fe. And for good reason. A win at home once again for the Sabalero. It ends full-time score. Colón 2, Banfield 0.
Thank you, Carter. Thank you, George. That's all for today with Colón and Banfield. A crucial win for El Sabalero to keep on the positive, lifting up with Nestor Gorosito in the bench. Banfield still stuck in the bottom, as it's no good news at all, as obvious for the drill for El Taladro, with one more defeat that is sinking them more and more in the battle to avoid relegation, as they are now in serious danger to be caught by the rest of the field, by Platense, by Sarmiento, and the rest of the teams in the lower zone of the table. As Atlético Tucumán was also 1-0 down to Belgrano. We'll move to the highlights of the game in a moment. Game brought to you by Carter Augustine and George Metellus. As Belgrano is leading 1-0 in the last minutes of the game. It's over for today. Alongside Carter Augustine and George Metellus and Francisco Aura, thank you for being with us. And stay tuned for Argentinos Juniors Independiente.
In this round 14 in Boca so far, they're definitely not in a place they want to be at, 20th. And we got to track back 5 games.